Thank you, Lars, for your kind words. And hello, Greece. I'm delighted that we're meeting up in cyberspace today. Obviously, I would prefer to meet up in person, but I think, and hope that you're going to find this webinar useful. Let me just say a few things. We will be using the chat box during the session. I suggest that whenever you have a question, you want to comment, you disagree with something, just write it in the chat box. I'll make sure that I actually have a look at your comments and will reply relatively promptly as we're going on. Let me now share my screen with you. Here we go. And that should be the PowerPoint. Oh, okay, good. So I was a bit nervous because I thought it was all up there. The session is titled Get the Most Out of Marbles, and it is obviously a training session because we know you're using marbles, and I promised to give a training session, 2 training sessions actually. So this is the first one, training session for the ones using marbles. Okay, so this is an overview. This is what we're going to deal with in the session. I will be sharing a sample unit from Marbles 1. It's actually a walkthrough, so we'll look at this sample unit page by page. I'll make various comments. I'll just share with you a number of tips, and hopefully you will find them useful. As I've said, ask your questions, make your comments while we're going along. I'm watching the chat box. We'll then get out of the sample unit and look at 2 or 3 other features in Marbles 1 that are not in the samples unit. I think I've chosen unit 5 as the samples unit, as the sample unit. We will then move on to Marbles 3. I've chosen 2 units there, 2 sample units, actually the welcome unit and an early unit in the book. We'll look at a few other features in Marbles 3, and as I've said, the practical tips and the Q&A. That's meant to be an ongoing feature. Okay, so let's get started with the sample units from Marbles 1. Just a little reminder, we have this wonderful welcome to the class chart. It looks like this. If you have a possibility of either printing it out or even using it on a whiteboard, it's better to print it out. Put it on the wall outside of your classroom or inside of the class. Ask the learners to form a line and welcome the kids at the beginning of the class. They choose their ritual, whether it's a high five, a bow, a handshake, a hug, a wave, or a crazy little dance. This is not just a nice ritual that helps children to feel well at the beginning of the class. It has actually been shown to improve not only the children's attitude towards the class, towards you, and towards learning English. It has also been proven to actually have a positive impact on the children's academic development, and that can easily be explained. The more we feel welcome in a class, the better we will actually learn. So let's get started with the unit I've chosen. It's unit 3, not unit 5. Sorry, I made a mistake previously. And this is a unit on my family, not my family, but the children's family. So what they do actually is obviously on spread 1, this is all about lexis. It's helping them to understand and remember a lexical set. In this case, it's first of all certain family words, mom, dad, sister, grandpa, granddad, but also important adjectives when it comes to talking about people, short, tall, old, and young. We have 2 options here of presenting the new words. First of all, there's an audio here with number 1. They look, they listen, and point. This is the first introductory listening. We want children to, some of them have already learned some words, obviously. They know some words. Children these days have a very good level of world knowledge, and simple English words are often part of that world knowledge. So they just listen and they point at the pictures where they think they know what the words mean. Tell them to relax and not to worry if they cannot point at all the words, because you're going to show them in number 2 a short video where the words will be introduced with the help of images. The key thing is, number 1, does that first without the video, so learners get used to the sounds of the language they are learning, and to activate some of their prior knowledge. Then there is the video, as I've said. Let's just have a look at a short extract.
Grandma. Grandma. Grandpa. Grandpa. Mum. Mum. Dad. Dad. Sister.
And so on and so forth. I hope you like this. I hope your children will like it. Hello, 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 all. I can see your comments in the chat box. It's nice to meet you all, and it's fantastic that so many of you are joining us, and so many of you have actually decided to work with marbles. Now, let's have a look at number 3 here on page 33, which is all about helping students remember not only the new words, but also remember the pronunciation and the word intonation. And there is, of course, one support system that helps in a very efficient way to do just that, and that is the use of rhythm. So we have short chants here on page 2 that help remember the new words. Let me play this chant.
3. Listen, point, and remember. Chant.
Grandma.
brother, mum, grandma, dad, old and young, tall and short, chant with me. What a lovely family! Grandpa, sister, brother, mum, grandma, dad, old and young, tall and short, chant with me. What a lovely family! Grandpa, sister, brother, mum, grandma.
Obviously, children will soon want to join in. They like the rhythm, and it's the right pace also for this age, for the level of the students. Obviously, the chants, for example, in Marbles 5 and 6, we have quite sophisticated and modern grammar raps, and they are, of course, faster, at least quite a few of them. Here, of course, we have decided to go for kind of like slower pace. When it comes to the learning of vocabulary, here's a tip from me. What we want our learners to take on board or embrace is a notion that word learning can become a personal passion. So I use the spreads, the spreads where we introduce new words, to actually introduce the phrase what's in English. And then I encourage the learners to ask for an additional word. I don't speak Greek, but if they have a word like cousin or grandson or granddaughter they want to ask about, this is their great chance to ask for one extra word per child, okay? Not more for the time being. So they ask you what's Greek word for cousin in English, and you tell them. Later, when they are used to this, of course, they can ask for more than one word, just 2 or 3 or 4 words, whatever. You write the word they're asking for on the board. You ask them to copy it in their vocabulary notebook. And later, please do come back to that. So ask them about their extra words. Say, for example, after 2 or 3 weeks, so what's your favorite extra word? Or are there any extra words you have found outside of class? Children pick up language outside of the classroom these days, be it on the web, be it from videos they watch, or games they play, online games they play, also English words they see around them. And we, I think, should actually support and encourage them to notice these words and try to take as many of these words on board. All right, so let's move on to the next spread. This is spread number 2. Obviously, here we have the first language or structural item. Who's that? That's my mum. Who's that? That's my grandma, and that's me. They listen, they read together with you, and then they act this out in class. It's very easy to get them to draw a very quick picture. The faster, the better. With several people from their families, and then they practice in pairs. Who's that? That's my sister. That's my brother. Who's that? That's my granddad. Who's that? That's my mom, etc., etc. And then they listen a number, and then again we can repeat this activity here, or depending on the level of your class, of course, you have a choice. You may want them to just act out the mini dialogues in number 1, then do exercise number 2, and then engage them in the drawing and transfer activity that I mentioned previously. Each child draws a few people from their family very quickly, and then they ask and answer each other, who's that? That's my, etc. This is followed by a pronunciation activity. Obviously, in level 1, we focus on phonics, on letters and letter sounds, and here we have that's M, that's my mom, that's me, that's my mom and me, and we want them to repeat that. We want them to close their eyes and listen. We want them to repeat it, saying as fast as they can. We want them to repeat it and playing with the language, saying the words with a high-pitched voice, that's my mom, saying the same sentence with a low-pitched voice, that's my mom, whispering the sentence, shouting the sentence, what have you. The more they can actually, or the more they want to repeat language in a fun way, the better for the pronunciation and the development of their intonation, and of course also for the development of their word memory. And then we have the song. So this is all about a child who is a bit of a pain in the eyes of her older sister. Okay, so the young child says, I really like my sister. I tell her every day, I really like my sister, but I just want to say, okay, I'm sorry, my kite is on your chair, I'm sorry, my plane is in your hair. So the younger child actually creates all kinds of mischief, but she's regretful and she apologizes. I'm sorry. Let's just listen to the song. Here we go.
I really like my sister. I tell her every day. I really like my sister, but I just want to say, I'm sorry, my kite is on your chair. I'm sorry, my plane is in your hair. I really like my sister. I tell her every day. I really like my sister, but I just want to say, I'm sorry, my pen is in your shoe. I'm sorry, it's not so fun for you. I really like my sister.
All right, so the song that nobody seems to like, because I asked you, like my song? And nobody said anything. Do you like it or do you not like it? Very nice. Thank you so much, Hermione. And several people like it a lot. Wow, absolutely. Yes, super. Thank you. You have, thank you for having woken up. Thanks so much. I just want to say about the songs, you have them, of course, on the audio, and you have them on the video. The videos are very nice for two reasons. They help understand the lyrics, but also we have the sort of karaoke subtitles here that help students sing along. There is a comment by Elizabeth who says, this is great because it's teaching values at the same time. And that is absolutely true, of course. We always make sure that we put in these little things, like, for example, here, the little one is creating mischief, but she apologizes. And that is something that is really important. Okay, good. Now, your students love the songs. That's fantastic, Christina. I will tell the musician. The musician is a good friend of mine, and I was recently teaching. I was recently teaching a class. My own grandson started going to the local primary school here. I live in a tiny village, 400 people, and in this tiny village there is only one school, as you can imagine, no private language schools. The school is very good; it has a good reputation, but it's not exactly famous for teaching English. So I actually pulled a few strings with the ministry, and I got permission to actually teach that class, my grandson's class, in English. So I went there several days a week to teach them in English, and they loved it. I loved it. So quite a few of the examples I will be sharing with you, the practical examples, also the one I have already shared about personalizing vocabulary learning, that is something that came from that class. But what I wanted to tell you, one of the girls in that class, her father is quite a well-known singer in a band. And I had a chat with him once, and I said, would you be interested in writing language teaching songs? And so he said, yeah, let's give it a try. And so, of course, we write the lyrics, but he gave it a try. He composed 2 or 3 of the songs for us. And we were all absolutely delighted with the quality. So here are the Marbles songs. I will tell the composer as soon as I meet him next time. Okay, so let's move on. Language 2, and this language point is again picking up that's my brother, and then personal pronouns, he and she. So we have that's my brother. He's tall. That's my dad. He isn't tall. He's short. So also negation. He is. He isn't. And then we go down. He is. So look and circle. Then say he's tall. He isn't tall. She's short. She isn't short. She's old. She isn't old. The children have to always look at the arrow so they know exactly which girl or which boy or which person they should actually be talking about. So a little tip here, drills that were thought to be out of fashion for some time can actually help enormously to remember structures. But what we need to avoid is semantic drills, okay? So when I say he's tall, and then I say short, and then they need to create a sentence, he's short, then I say young, and then they're supposed to say he's young. That is not useful because it's just a mechanical stimulus response drill. While structural drills, so when I say he's short, then I say not, or I just give them a sign. So I say he's short, and then they have to create the sentence, he isn't tall, or he isn't short in this case, when I just give a negative signal, or I say she's young, and then they say she isn't young, or she's old, whatever. That helps more than if they just mechanically have exactly the same pattern and need to replace just one word in each sentence. He's short, he's young, he's tall, he's old. This doesn't require any structural thinking at all. The second little tip about drilling: drills should be short and snappy. Let's not drill for too long, please. On the next page, the children meet Jenny or James in a short video. First of all, they listen here and they just hear, that's my sister, I'm James. Just a reminder, that's my brother, that's me. And we also have these words here, or phrases: on the beach, in the mountains, in a city. You can, if you want, pre-teach those, or you play the video first and just see how much they understand from watching the video. Okay, so let me show you the video.
Hello, it's holiday time. Look at my holiday photos. This is me on a beach. Look, this is my boat. And this is my sandcastle. It's very big. And this is my sister Katie. And this is me in the mountains. Look! I love the mountains. What holiday photos have you got?
Okay, now can I ask you to turn to the chat box for a minute? And I would like to ask you for any other ideas how you want to exploit this video. So what would you do with it in class? I'll give you a minute. Any ideas, any suggestions? We could ask students to bring their holiday pictures and present them to their classmates. Exactly. Pause and ask questions. What's this? Lovely. Thank you. Excellent. Could we speak for ourselves too and show them our own pictures, or are they too young for that? Not at all. I think it's a wonderful idea, and that could even be the introduction to the video, that the teacher shows a few of her or his holiday photos. Make a comic strip after they've watched it. That's a very creative idea. Ask them to become James and present his holiday pictures. Lovely. Get them to imitate James. Or, I love the idea, Elizabeth, make a video presenting their holiday photos. So students could do several of these, and at the end, you could get them to use a smartphone or a tablet, and they produce short videos where they present their holiday photos. So in that case, you're turning this into a little project. Children, it's also about media education, and it's also, of course, about presenting, developing presentation skills. Great ideas. Thanks so much, everybody. Let me go to the next page. This is a value page. And when it comes to family, we know that not for every child, family is happy family. Not for every child, because some of them maybe have just gone through a phase where the parents have had a divorce. Sometimes, okay, they also come across problems in a family and things like that. So what we want to point out to them is that families are different, okay? And people in a family are different. But of course, the teacher will also really show them that this is, look at my family. When you look at number 2, that's my dad. That's my brother. That's my, sister. We're all different, and that's great. So it doesn't have to be mom and dad and brother, sister. It could be just one parent and a child, could be a grandparent and a child, could be, I don't know, a mom and a cat and a child, what have you. It's important that for a child, what is a family, of course, is what they perceive to be their family. And it's the key point here is also that they learn to say we are all different, and that's great. Okay. Now, listening and speaking, I'm not going into that. Obviously, this is skills development, obviously still very basic. This is my brother. Hello, nice to meet you. And this is my mom. Hello, nice to meet you. So we are using both this and that in the unit when we talk about the picture. Both is actually possible. While in a personal introduction, nobody would say that's my brother. At this stage, I would not go into DX's teaching them that when somebody or some things are further away, we generally tend to use that. When something is closer, we tend to use this. I wouldn't go into that at this early stage. I don't know if you agree with me. Would you do you agree with what I've just said? If you do, can you just say yes in the chat box, please? Totally. Thank you, Elizabeth. Yes. No strong disagreement there. Okay, lovely. Thank you so much. Right. Then let's have a look at the next page. I am actually there's one tip I would like to give you. When you look at, for example, sentences like hello, how nice to meet you, and you add a word, if it's a name, sorry, if it's a name like Caroline, And if you count the syllables now, hello, nice to meet you, Caroline. So that is 9 binary digits, 9 syllables. And we know that in early language teaching, and when we're talking about 6-year-olds, there are kids that actually find it difficult to remember and go beyond even 5 syllables. Okay, so a reminder maybe that backward chaining is a technique that we can use to help children remember longer utterances. So, hello, nice to meet you, Caroline. You can try it out. Say to your class, say after me, hello, nice to meet you, Caroline. A few of them will be able to. Others will go, hello, nice. If that is the case, what you wanted to do is backward chaining. So I'm quite sure most of you are familiar with it. It's just a reminder. So you say Caroline, the last word, and ask them to repeat. Caroline, Caroline. You, Caroline. You, Caroline. Meet you, Caroline. Meet you, Caroline. To meet you, Caroline. To meet you, Caroline. Nice to meet you, Caroline. Nice to meet you, Caroline. Hello, nice to meet you, Caroline. Hello, nice to meet you, Caroline. Backward chaining, an extremely powerful mnemonic strategy. This is now the project page. It's called Imagine, Create, and Play. Yes, syllable capping. Panoraya, thank you so much. Also helps with long syllables. So if you have longer words, if you have Caroline, Caroline, everybody, Caroline, etc., etc., etc. Thanks for the tip. That's very useful. Page 40, not the last page, the last but one. This is the project page titled Imagine, Create, and Play. And what we're doing here is that we're moving to a toy world. Children at this age love using their imagination, and we love kindling their imagination and creativity. That's very important, as we know, because language is about creativity. It's also because for some kids, it's easier actually to talk about like a toy family, imagine a toy family. And we have 2 kids here, Sally and Sam, and they talk about their toy family here. Let's just listen.
1. Look, listen, and tick.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Teddy.
Oh, it's Teddy's birthday. How old are you?
I'm 3.
Happy birthday, Teddy. Who's that?
That's my dad, and that's my mum, and my grandma and grandpa.
Wow, your grandpa is old.
Yes.
And your grandma is short.
Yes.
So they tick whose birthday it is, and then they carry out this imaginary dialogue with I think Teddy is called, the little bear there. Okay. Learners then close their eyes. They listen and imagine that they have a toy family. They have learned the words for the toys previously, so it picks up nicely on their prior knowledge, and they imagine that they have a family of toys. Of course, it could also be a mixed family. It could be a robot and a doll and a teddy and a little toy dog and what have you. So this is the audio.
2. Close your eyes, listen and imagine. Then draw your toy family in the picture and say,
Close your eyes. Imagine you are a toy. What toy are you? A doll? A teddy? A robot? Now imagine your toy family. Is your dad tall? Is your grandpa short? Is your sister young? Now draw your toy family.
When you're doing this, when you're playing this audio, you may want to actually, after the questions, when they say, is your sister tall, you may want to stop the audio and give them a bit of time to just dream. You could, of course, also say these short suggestions yourself, and then you can actually pace it to your class. Okay, something like, okay, close your eyes, listen, and imagine. Imagine you are a toy, and you give them a bit of time. What toy are you? And again, you wait a bit. Are you a teddy? A doll? Are you a robot? Or a little car, etc., etc., etc. Okay? Students, once they have decided who they are, and of course, Elizabeth, they can bring their toy family in the classroom and present it in a story in a bag way. Okay, so they have a bag and there are the toys in there, and then they take it out and present it. Another idea is the idea we're using here. Some teachers don't want their kids to bring their class to toy. The second best maybe is what we have here. We have this little flip chart on page 40, and they can draw their toy family and actually can then present their toy family to the child sitting next to them, to a group, or indeed to the whole class. And in the activity book, we also have, there is always a page to go with the project page in the pupils' books. Generally, the activity book, as you've noticed already, is organized in such a way that you will always find an equivalent page for each page in the pupils book. And with the project pages, we usually, in level 1, we usually have ideas for making things. In this case, it's finger puppets, which they, of course, can use also to develop a little role play. They can talk about their puppet family here. Now, when it comes to project work, I have already mentioned this, but I'd like to stress it again, the importance of kindling the students' imagination. I gave a webinar on creativity recently, and very sadly, 2 or 3 colleagues actually said, I always find it, or I found it difficult as a child to actually activate my imagination. I think that any and every child is imaginative. Sometimes it seems we tend to lose a bit of this imagination and creativity. Not everyone, of course. But I think it's definitely worth helping children develop their creativity. Okay, so Kieran Egan says imagination is the ability to think of things as possible, the source of flexibility and originality in human thinking. And I think it was Albert Einstein who said that imagination is more important than knowledge. And obviously, he didn't say that knowledge is not important. Of course not. But if we want to make more out of what we know, we need imagination. If we want to create new things, then we need imagination. Okay. And my special tip here is to praise students for making an effort. Okay. You've done a lot of work here. That's great. You've done this very, very carefully. I can see that you've spent a lot of time. This looks great. This is more important than practicing their talent. You are so good. You are so creative. Or the outcomes of their work. It's actually better to praise effort, because when we praise effort, they learn that the teacher appreciates their effort and will be happy in the future also to make a lot of effort and to put in energy and commitment and passion into their language learning. We close off the unit with a review page where we revise the key lexis and some of the other language chunks, in this particular case, in the mountains, on the beach, etc. Okay. And then they can actually say, now I know. Learners can look and tick the words they have learned. And the question is, are you ready for Unit 5? So the idea is that learners come to a kind of conclusion at the end of the unit. They understand what they've learned. And if they find it difficult to remember these words, then we can point out to them that they should actually take the time also at home. We will, of course, revise regularly in the classroom, but they should also revise at home. And it's good to point, this is the workbook, but I just want to... Sorry. Do I not have this? Yes, I just wanted to show you the picture dictionary. I'm sure you have seen it already, but let's show learners that there is a picture dictionary in the book, and there is also a language reference section where who's that? That's my, he is, she is, etc. He isn't, she isn't, where all this is listed in a visually very clear way. Let me go back to where we were. We were here. So other features in marbles that are not in this particular unit are the, we could say, kill pages. Here we have something on natural science, and this is all about the senses, where children are, of course, learning important lexical chunks.
1. Listen and number. 1,
Hear the sea.
2,
Touch a cat.
3,
See a fish.
etc.,
1,
etc.
4. Listen and
the key thing here, of course, is also that we, and that's my tip, that we extend this lexical set, this set of chunks of language, by asking the children to transfer the language they are learning to other contexts. They have the world knowledge, and they also have the words. They have some prior knowledge. So the teacher could say, okay, what else? And he or she could say, here, a car. Now you, here, and the learner says, here, a dog. Yes, and here, a boy, etc., etc., etc. So we give them a few stimuli, and students extend their lexical knowledge here, or their use of words to various contexts. Okay. This is also not what we had in this unit, and it's an episode from What's It? You know it already. I will actually play this episode, and my question is, while you're watching it, what are your ideas of how you want to use the video in class? So short sentences will do. I don't want you to be too busy while you're watching it, but give us a few ideas, please, of how you would use the video. Here we go.
What's it and friends? Cat in a tree.
Oops, sorry.
What's it and friends? Cat in a tree.
Come on, Dad. Pass the ball.
Here you go.
Now, Sam.
Wow!
Oh, hey, Sally. Help us look for the ball.
Okay, Sam.
Oh. Huh? What's that? What's that? No. What's it?
What's it? What's it? Is that you? I can see your eyes so blue.
Woohoo! Yes, it's me.
What's it? What's it? Please help the little cat.
Yay! What's it? You are the best!
Okay, that's the What's It episode number 3. I'm looking forward to seeing your suggestions in the chat box on how to exploit this video in class. Maybe write speech bubbles for some characters in pairs, act out the story, a little role play, drama activity. Lovely, thank you. They can practice reading the story at home and then choose a character and act it out in classroom with objects. We could pause the video and ask for prediction. Lovely, especially when learners maybe have a level of the language that is maybe a little more developed already, but it may work already at this stage. Absolutely. Let me share with you, maybe role play the story. Yes. Let me share with you a technique that I love using, it's always great fun, which is a nice preparation for children if we want them to act out a role play. So the story in a role play.
What's it?
What I do is, oops, I thought I had it here. No, I actually have it in the next. I have it in level 3, but you can use it in level 1 too. The technique is called storyboarding. I will show the technique to you in a few minutes when we move on to the next session. Okay, now let's to the next, not session, to the next unit. Let's have a look at Marbles 3 now. There's another idea from Vicky. Show them a scene before watching the video and ask them to predict. You probably mean with the sound turned off, or just show them part of the scene and then ask them to predict what happens next. That's a lovely activity. Thank you. A lovely idea. And extremely important from the point of view of cognitive development. One of the special capabilities of human cognition is the ability to predict. We constantly make predictions, constantly. When you are in a situation in the streets, you constantly need to predict. But also when we're with other people, when we're having a chat with someone, we kind of predict, we assume what the other person is going to say now, etc., etc., etc. So we constantly draw conclusions from what is happening now and make predictions. And this is, by the way, something that artificial intelligence is not good at, okay? Especially when it comes to predicting human action. That's what AI is not able to do. Maybe I should add the word yet. Okay. Now, let's have a look at this introduction. So in level 3, we have the welcome unit. We introduce new characters. There is Tana. There is, hang on a minute. There are the characters from the video sequence, the science fiction story. So we have Kota, Alto, I should say it in ABC order, Alto, Beta, and Kota. And we also have Teddy, okay? And they listen, and then they first just listen for the name of the teacher.
1. Look and listen. What's the name of the teacher?
Hello, welcome. My name is Tana. I am a teacher. How are you? Good. What's your name? Nice to meet you. These are my students. Do you want to meet them? Okay.
Hi, I'm Alto. I like playing with my friends, and I like cool cities, but I don't like milk.
Hello, I'm Beta. I like making things, and I love swimming in the sea. Hello, I'm Kota. I like jumping.
Etc. And then they complete the fact file about themselves, and they share the information in pairs or in groups. My tip here, when you look at this page, Sometimes what we can do is we can give learners, so we can ask them to look at a page and we can give them a choice, okay? So for example, in this case, I want them to listen, number 2, to listen to the audio again, and they are supposed to read and write the names. Now, I could say to them, for example, would you like to listen straight away, or would you like to read the information first and then listen to the audio? Now, obviously, from the point of view of developing their listening comprehension and developing their accuracy in listening, it is actually better to ask them to read through the cards first. But let's not do that. Let's give them a choice so they actually find out themselves. Then we can have a quick chat about this. Do you think it was good? And this will have to happen in mother tongue for a minute maybe. Do you think it was good to listen first and then actually try to fill in the fact sheets? Or do you think it would be better to look at the fact sheets first and then to listen? So just give them a choice. Giving them a choice, giving them small choices. Do you want to practice the dialogues first, or give them either or choices? Would you like to do exercise 3 or 4 first? Okay. Or invite individual students to make choices. We've got 5 minutes left at the end of the class. Sarah, you can make a choice. What shall we do in these 5 minutes? It must be a good, meaningful choice. Shall we sing a song? Shall we look at the story again? Or shall we practice the words again so you have them fresh in your mind when you're doing your homework? It's up to you. And Sarah makes a choice. Next time, maybe another student makes a choice. Okay? So help them to make choices, because choices create autonomous thinking. Learners who learn to make responsible choices will also develop their responsibility in learning better. On the next page, they get to know Mia and Mike. They are 2 kids from the UK who are the protagonists in the Mia and Mike video episodes. So this is an introduction. So children know a little bit about them, about their background, and they kind of get to know them before they actually see them for the first time on video. As always, and this is something that I'm sure you will take very seriously, as always, whatever we do, whenever possible, we lead towards getting kids to personalize. So they listen, they find information about Mia and Mike, and then they complete the table about themselves. How old are you? What's your favorite color, animal, food, hobby, toy? They complete this, sometimes, of course, also with the help of the teacher, because if a child has as their favorite hobby, I don't know, snorkeling, they don't know the word yet, probably, or they do maybe. A few of them they do maybe. If not, you will help them with words. They fill this in, and then they can talk about themselves. They can ask and answer, or they can make a short presentation about themselves. Then here, this is a nice activity because it helps developing a cognitive skill. Categorizing is a very important. higher order thinking skill belongs to the critical thinking skills. So they have to find and write 3 toys, 3 things to eat, 3 things to wear, and 3 animals. And this is something, by the way, as a little tip, at the beginning of a class, I sometimes start the lesson by saying, okay, quickly, give me 3 colors. Give me 5 animals. Give me 2 items of clothing. Give me 3 animals, etc., etc., etc. What's important here is that they learn they have to do these things very fast. This helps to activate their prior knowledge, but it also helps them to be really motivated. It focuses their attention. It's therefore a good start to a lesson. Another song, Fun in Town, comes next.
We have lots of fun in town all day. We have lots of fun, come on and play.
We have lots of fun in town all day. We have lots of fun, hooray, hooray.
There's a girl and there's a boy. There are shops and there are toys. Here's the bookshop, here's the kite. Here's the skateboard, here's the bike.
We have lots of fun in town all day. We have lots of fun, come on and play.
We have lots of fun in town all day. We have lots of fun, hooray, hooray.
I can see a taxi, I can see a train, I can see a ball, and I can see a plane. Helicopters, motorbikes, lots of houses that I like. We have lots of fun in town all day. We have lots of fun, come on and play.
And so on and so forth. Just a little tip. One way of helping them with remember song lyrics is, of course, skeleton text. Is the skeleton text technique. Write up the text of the song, the lyrics, using the first letter of each word only, and get them to recount the words, to remember the words, remember the lyrics. This is very, very powerful. Lillian is saying we're being spoiled with the song. Thank you so much, Lillian. Then, of course, we have the video Space-Time Adventures, which I think I'm not going to play because I guess that most of you have seen the video, or maybe I should just play a short extract. Okay, so this is the welcome video, presents the new characters, Alto, Beta, Kota, and the robot, Mona. But the children also meet for the first time 2 rather evil characters. And of course, I will ask them whether they understood and remembered their name. Okay, here we go. No?
Space-Time Adventures!
Walking in the woods.
Me too. Let's explore.
Oh, be careful, Kota. Oh, hey, look. It's beautiful.
Oh, yes. It's very big.
No,
What's that? Come here. Let's hide and watch.
Let's run away.
No, let's not.
Wow! It's a spaceship!
Oh, hello.
Hello?
What's your name?
I'm Alto, and this is Beta.
I'm Kota. And what's your name?
I'm Mona. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Where's your...
I'm now moving a bit forward so they get to know each other and they learn now that Mona is actually scared, and she's scared of Whizzer. Here we go.
Look, that's Whizzer.
Oh, don't worry.
No?
This is the planet of the good people.
There's no Whizzer here.
Oh, thank you. That's good to hear.
There she is. I'm coming to get you, Mona. Oh, Spike. Go get them. Now!
Okay, if I can just elaborate a little bit on the psychological quality of this video. Now, when children are very young, like in level 1 and 2, they need a simple structure in a story. They need a beginning, a middle, and an end. There must be a problem of some kind, and the problem must be resolved towards the end of the story. We also need a little bit of magic, something that cannot be explained through logical thinking. An animal that can speak, a little character like What's-It that plays tricks or helps children solve problems, etc. In levels 3 and 4, where children are usually between, like, say, 7.5 and 9.5 or 10, stories need to be a bit more elaborate. They need a plot that is a bit more complex. And what is extremely important in stories for this age group is emotional contrast. So in many stories, also in traditional fairy tales, we have contrasts like happy versus sad, rich versus poor, generous versus greedy, etc., etc., etc. And one contrast that is extremely important also because it helps with the development of value concepts in the child's mind is good versus evil. And this is the reason why fantasies as a literary genre are so important with this age group up to an age of even 12, 13. That's why Harry Potter is so popular with children, because there is a fight between good and evil. Now, in this case, we have the characters.
Space time.
Sorry. The good characters, Alto, Beta, and Kota. Mona, the robot, those are the good characters. And we have the evil characters, Whizzer, the queen of evil, and her bird, Spike, who is her helper, basically, who's also bad. there is this fight between good and evil. Of course, the good need to win in the end. But psychologically, it's also very interesting because in the course of the episodes throughout the 2 years, levels 3 and 4, Spike actually changes character. And how this happens in a later episode, Spike falls ill. And he's very ill. The children find him and he's almost dying. The children care for him. So he gets in touch for the first time with the good, so to speak, with the children's care, and feeling what it's like when somebody cares for you actually makes him think and makes him decide that he wants to be good. And he asks the children towards the end whether he can be their friend. So this is, I think, quite interesting from a psychological point of view and from the point of view of developing children's social, emotional understanding. Here we go with a unit, with a complete unit. We've just looked at the welcome unit. It's the same principle here. There are other features, but level 1 is, of course, spread 1 is, of course, about the introduction of vocabulary. You still have those videos also with real world footage where they learn words like the animals here. Language 1, Mona's phonic beatbox. This is again about the development of pronunciation, of phonics that helps with reading and writing, of course, also. And then we have the animals. I don't have the time to the song, sorry. What's that animal? I don't have the time to play this song now, but I can guarantee it's a great song. This is the tip I have already given you, just to those of you who haven't used it. Use the skeleton text technique or gradual deletion to help with remembering song lyrics, okay? So here the song lyrics are, is it a fish there in the lake? Is it a fish or is it a snake? It isn't a fish, it isn't a snake, it's an octopus making a cake. So here they go. Is it a fish there in the lake? It isn't a fish. Is it a fish or is it a snake? It isn't a fish. It isn't. I'm sorry, I made a mistake here. This should be the I, the second I in the third line should be a lowercase I. It isn't a fish. It isn't a snake. It's an octopus making a cake. Okay. Language 2 with, of course, longer contextual embedding, dialogues in this particular case, and a box, a language box that prepares them for dealing with grammar. Of course, we also have the language reference, and always structure of the page that goes from receptive understanding of the grammar in a contextualized way. Here the teacher points out, also with the help of the grammar reference, the structures there are, how many are, etc. And then they actually use the structures communicatively in this particular case by asking, counting and talking about a picture, and last but not least, also looking around the classroom, talking about the classroom. You have, of course, also the grammar companions, especially for Greek schools. I don't have the time to go into that, but you are far more familiar with working with grammar companions that I am, actually, because it is something that you use in Greece. Now, here something, oops, for the very first time, why can't I all of a sudden go further? Okay. Yeah, here we have the first longer factual text about saving the whales, developing their reading skills, space-time adventures. My tip also, when you get them to watch a story, what I often do is I draw the story on the board. I say, okay, I'll draw the story now. This is picture 1. They are not looking in their books. Who's in the story and what's the situation? Where is it? What is she doing? What is he doing? Okay. I listen to their answers. I elicit more language from them, and I add to the drawings based on what they say, picture by picture. I am the world's worst artist, I can tell you. But the kids in my classes have always enjoyed that, okay? Sometimes, of course, they have said things like, what? That's not a dog, that looks like a pig, or things like that. Good fun when the teacher actually owns up to the things he or she is not good at. The project in level 3 is about imagining, creating, and sharing. So this develops presentation skills also. And we have, again, the page in the student's book and the page and, the spread in the appendix. So students create their own imaginary world, okay? What's your planet like? What's your new animal like? What's your robot helper like? And so on and so forth. And they have examples also here. And they have a page in the workbook, in the activity book, page 22, that further supports them here. I'm coming to the end. Other features would be this feature here, which is kill again. And then we have Mia and Mike. I don't have the time to play the video, but these videos are really very nice. Like they are in levels 1 and 2, where we have Jenny and James. Here we have Mia and Mike. Of course, with more language, the language is growing. And, hopefully so is the child's language. Okay, that's it from me. Thanks so much for joining in. And I'm handing over the microphone to Lars.
Thank you. And thank you very much for such a wonderful, useful, fun, and entertaining session. And I'm sure that everybody enjoyed it and have picked up a lot of wonderful ideas about how to make the most out of teaching with marbles. I will also share my screen. I have a slide here that I would like to share with you. Okay. You can see, oops. What happened here? Should go back. So, sorry for this. So apart from all the tips and ideas that you got from Herbert during his session, we have this little booklet, 20 pages, called Marbles Basic Techniques, where you can find lots of extra ideas about how to teach with marbles in your class. And if you scan the barcode here next to the booklet, you can get a PDF or a digital copy of this booklet. Or if you prefer a printed version of it, you can ask Kaki Baruti from Books 24 to send it to you. She has got printed copies that you may prefer to use instead of a PDF. So last but not least, I would like to mention that you will all get a certificate of attendance within the next 24 hours. And next week on September the 26th at 12 o'clock, we have a new session with Herbert where he will repeat the session of today for people who did not have the chance or the opportunity to join us today. But of course, you're welcome to join him again next week if you wish.
Can I just ask you? Can I just ask you? Is that really a repeat session? I thought we are doing a continuation. We are looking at marbles 4 and 5, or is it a repeat session? Because people who couldn't watch this one, I understand, will actually have an opportunity to watch the recording. No.
Okay. No, that's something that I had misunderstood there. Okay, so it is a continuation then of with other levels of marbles. So please, you are welcome to join us again. I had misunderstood. I thought it was for, and we gave the opportunity for people to join us either today or next week. But if it's a continuation, then please sign up again for the next session on September the 26th. We will be happy to have you here again, and I'm sure that you will enjoy the tips for the next levels of marbles.
May I add something here?
Yes.
I have put my email address in the chat box. If you have a specific question that you would like me to address next week, do drop me a short email, and I promise I will actually include that question and my answers, and hopefully tips on you know, as an answer to your question the next week when we meet up again. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much again, Herbert, and thank you very much to everybody, and have a lovely new beginning of the school year, and enjoy teaching with marbles. So goodbye for now.